Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and welcome to not so sunny Montreal, Canada for the latest round in the BSRTC rounds 34, 35 and 36 of the season from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Hello everybody, in the commentary box with you for this evening. It's Adam Bath and alongside me it's Marco Barbonera. And Marco, we've had a nice 2 weeks off. But the BSRTC is back at probably one of the toughest tracks we go to this season because primarily it's probably one of the closest things we've got on the service to a street race.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. The walls are so close. We've got 44 cars scheduled to race tonight in this triple header. So a little mistake, you bounce off the wall, and we've seen this Sunday in the Formula 1 Grand Prix, especially in the first few laps, there are some corners where if a guy hits the wall and bounces back on the track or gets a little bit sideways and pushes you into the wall, dramatic stuff can happen, and it's going to be very, very hard to have a clean start in all of the 3 races we're going to have.
Indeed it is, yeah. We can run you through the championship standings going into this one as we see some of the drivers on their qualifying lap. There's Chris Wood just coming across the line. 1 minute 40 to beat, definitely not going to be anywhere near that. Does a 40, down does a 1 minute 40. David Baker, actually, we'll have a quick look at him just before we go through the championship standings. Championship contender, of course. 140.1 to beat, comes across the line and does a 141.05. So championship contender moving up the order there to 16th place. Can get the timing tower up as well so you can see what's going on there. Right, yeah, championship standings. Leading the way is Jack Regan. Second is Dave Baker, just a few points behind him. Then it's Jamie Rushworth in third, a good 100 so behind Baker. Then Nicole Foggy in fourth for the Scuderia Haggis team. And fifth, it's Kip Stevens. Sixth, Pete Harrod. Seventh, Wojciech Svidovic, the reigning champion, slowly working his way up through the field. And then it's Ross McFarlane and Mark Woodhouse and Jack Sedgwick rounding out the top 10. And of course, Mark Woodhouse, a Pro-Am driver as well. So good to see him there. In the AM category, it's Mark Woodhouse. We just mentioned him. Then it's Maciek Sakovic, Carly Jansen, Dan Brown, Adam Hadfield, Lorne Murray, Matt Keeper, Max Wright and Michael Blake, with Dave Crozier rounding up the top 10 there. And then in the team standings, it's CQR leading CQR Academy by 800 points so far. Before we even get to the showdown, that is looking a bit of a formality there, with Northern Lights GT Omega 200 behind them. Then it's Apex recovering after a slow start to the season. Then Team Mad boosted, Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis. Then it's also Mex Immortal, Youth Energy, Bodak and ProSim. Cars currently qualifying then at the moment. Scott Malcolm just coming across the line now. 1 minute 43 for him. So no sign of him improving as he goes into the first corner. Jake Blackhall is next to come across the line. Here he is. Coming across the line now, doing a 40.7, going into the first corner. Possibly one of the overtaking opportunities we're going to see here today, Marco, but I'm guessing the main one is probably going to be at the hairpin, isn't it?
Yeah, the hairpin, and if you decide not to pass there, you can still get a decent tow and try to pass at the final chicane, but very difficult corner there, and if you bounce off the curb in the wrong way, you could end up in the Wall of Champions to your left. So I would do all my overtakes in the hairpin 100%. One thing I can say, and this is probably going to be the easiest prediction in my life, we are going to have a lot more action tonight than we have had on Sunday in the Formula 1 Grand Prix.
Oh, definitely, definitely. For those of you that haven't watched it, don't bother, basically. Or maybe watch the qualifying and then move on. Hopefully better action at the... where are we next? Is it Austria? I think we're at Austria next.
No, we have Paul Ricard.
Paul Ricard, the new French Grand Prix.
Yeah, yes. they are already calling it French Quota, so...
Oh, yeah.
Not gonna be good.
No, not much gravel there, I don't think.
No, not at all.
And yeah, the vantage points, I'm guessing, are going to be pretty far away. Scott Malcolm is coming through the final few corners now. He's coming up to the line. Doesn't look like he's going to beat the time set by Pete Newman, or 140.144. Malcolm comes across the line there. Jake Blackhall next. Here comes Alex Simpson. Currently sat in 16th place. He comes across the line. Looks like he was on an outlap of sorts. As yeah, we get quite a few outlaps now on the screen. New qualifying overlay for this season. Qualifying's over as well, and just looking at the times, it's down to thousandths of a second, I believe, Marco, between Pete Newman and Nicole Foggy. Very, very tight at the top.
1:40.144 for the first two drivers, and this is the best ticket we can give to the crowd, to the spectators. This is a clear indication that the field is going to be tight and bunched up, and the driving will be amazing. I mean, we have two drivers with the same time. You are right, down to the 4th decimal that we cannot see, but luckily iRacing can, and that is only thing that separates Pete Newman from Nicole Foggy. So absolutely, it can't be any closer than this.
Well, if that's anything to go by, then we're in for a very exciting evening. If you are new to the BSRTC, first of all, welcome, and you are in for 3 races tonight. Race 2 and Race 3 going to be set by a reverse grid, which we will bring up later on with a Wheel of Fortune, always an exciting part of the evening, and that's just to go alongside the 3 races that we've got. All the cars that are on the tracks at the moment look like they are not on flying laps. They all just look like they're just finishing. You can see there, Newman and Foggy separated by, as Marco was saying, pretty much dead heat. Just maybe a thousandth or so between them. Then it's just over a tenth of a second back to Glatzel, and then McFadden, Hall as well. Just looking at the difference in times, we've got at least, the top 17 all within maybe even the top 18 within a second or so of each other, and that's going to be very close indeed. And with a track like this, Marco, I don't think we're going to be seeing too many breakaway packs, especially in the reverse grid races. It's going to be all tightly bunched around this circuit.
Yeah, now, this first race, we have 18 degrees in the air and 19 degrees Celsius on the track. But we've seen at Imola, we have had the first and third race with a very cold track. Then the second race, basically, it was in the middle of the Sahara. So who knows what might happen here with the weather. With this weather here, the drivers are pretty confident they can have at least some kind of grip. But if the temperature gets a little bit higher, who knows, maybe. And the track is perfectly clean, 0% usage, so it's going to take some time before it gets a little bit of rubber on it.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the track does get rubbered in over the course of the evening, so by the time we get to race 3, it's going to be pretty dirty offline. We can run you through the grid then. Pete Newman starts on the pole, 1,000th of a second ahead of Nicole Foggy. Then it's Sven Glatzel in 1st, Jim McFadden 4th, Michael Hall starting in 5th, then his teammate Dan Kraft in 6th. Reigning champion Wojciech Savidovic starting in 7th, then Ross McFarlane 8th, Martin Front 9th, and 10th is Pete Harrod. 11th, Jake Blackhall, the Aussie. 12th is Jack Regan, our championship leader. And then moving on back, it's Chris Wood, then Colin Cunniff, Paul Swift, the Yorkshireman in 15th, Jamie Rushworth in 16th, Season 4 champion. Then it's Alex Simpson, Dave Baker, and then 19th place Matt Bunn, and 20th place the Bulgarian Julian Janovsky. 21st is Craig Williams, 22nd Mark Woodhouse, 23rd on the grid is Rusty Laidler, Adam Hadfield 24th, Lorne Murray 25th, Brian Holmes in the Apex Racing UK car in 26th place, 27th is Tristan Bodis, 28th is Maciek Sakovic, 29th is Alan McNally, then 30th Michael Blake, 31st Matt Keeber, 32nd is Jackie Lotterman, then Stephen Burke, Scott Malcolm, Max Wright, and then the Welshman Lee Deemer, then Ben Mears, Dave Crozier, then Laura Bonds, Jack Sedgwick in 40th, 41st Andreas Katz, most of these cars not setting times at the back of the grid, Nathan Davis in 42nd, Mark Johnston 43rd, 44th Rob Graham, and then starting on the back row of the grid it's Kip Stevens and Alex Everett. So that's the 46 car grid. More than a NASCAR race. This is going to be pretty interesting. Right then. The revs begin to rise. And at Canada.
Green, green, green.
Runs away. Good start by Newman. It's a time race for this opening race. But here comes Glatzel up the inside. He could get all of them. Contacts made between him and Newman. But Newman's going to go back up the inside and try and maintain the lead. Shades of Bottas on Sunday, but Glatzel's going to hold it out around the outside. This chicane normally isn't an overtaking spot in most series, but in the BSRTC, you take it anyway, get them. What a move by Glatzel around the outside. Newman trying to wrestle with the car over the curbs, and Sven Glatzel Marco from third on the grid is up to the lead already.
Great move, and the leaders at the very least are making it very, very clean. I see some movement on the official scoring, so there might have been some contacts behind, but Sven Glatzer, amazing move, and now he's in P1 going into the third chicane.
Yeah, pretty much. Apart from the hairpin, this circuit is made up of chicanes really, but you can see already Glatzel trying to make a break for it. It's going to be tough, but if there's any race where you can do it, it is race 1, because of course we've got the quickest cars in the field right at the very front as Glatzel goes into the hairpin, and Savidovic having a little look behind Nicole Foggy as well as we get hard on the brakes for the first time. There's movement further back. There's a CQR Academy car looking up the inside. That is Jake Blackhall battling away with car 57 Martin in front, who is the highest of the Pro-Ams here, and a bit of damage to the front right potentially as well, as we begin to start the slipstreaming going down the long back straight alongside the rowing course, Marco.
Yeah, and this is the place where you can get a lot of tow. Let's see if somebody tries a move in the first lap. I would not risk it. Colin Cunliffe tried to get by the car. Sorry, there was Jamie Rushworth trying to get by the car in front of me. It's very important here. Maybe you're seeing some of the drivers already taking slow down, so if you are too greedy with the curbs in the final chicane, you're going to get penalized.
Yeah, already, yeah, if you do get a slowdown penalty at the end of the opening lap, then you are in for a really tough race, because iRacing just gives you a big hefty fine, and you're not able to recover really, as Jamie Rushworth and Alex Simpson going into battle here, going through the second of the chicanes. This is over 14th and 15th place, with Chris Wood and Paul Smith not too far behind them. And up the inside goes on Paul Smith, Dave Baker, one of the championship contenders. You can look up the inside, but we saw there that Paul Smith was able to hold his own, and if you're on the inside, especially with these cars being front-wheel drive, Marco, you're able to power your way through and still hold on. Yeah.
Problem is, you need to get a very good exit from the corner, because otherwise you are basically, you have to defend again at the next chicane, and then again at the hairpin. It's going to be like this all the race long for these drivers.
Battle for third going on here. This is Stuart McFadden. Well, it was third. Nicole Foggy, I think, was trying to get by, but he ran into the back of the CQR Academy car, and now he's having to get on the defensive from the reigning champion here, Savidovic, as we go down the back straight, looking from the rear of the Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis car. As we get on the brakes into the final corner, no move yet by Savidovic, but you can see the amount of curbs that they take going for that final chicane. And they're on their way again to complete the second lap. There has been a move. Oh, there's a crash. That's what's happened. It's Jamie Rushworth. Now, what's happened here? The CQR club car was running in about inside the top 15, and it is game over for Jamie Rushworth. He's had to tow back to the pits. Right, let's go on a replay and see what happened.
The Wall of Champion, and then some.
Yeah, he is a champion in this series. Let's have a look as well. Misses the inside curb, gets on that big curb on the inside, and then off into the wall. Fortunately, Paul Smith and David Baker don't pick up too much damage from all of that. But car 8 and the season 4 champion has had to retire to the pits, so he'll be hoping that he can get back on track before the end of the race, so he could be in with a shout of the reverse grid pole for race 2. But that's a disaster for the CQR club driver.
Remember, guys at home, you have to be 1 lap down at the very most to be eligible for the reverse grid. So if you are 2, 3, 4 laps down, you are starting at the back of the pack.
That's right, yeah. You can be 1 lap down and get away with it, but if you are 2 laps down, then you are out of contention. And the reverse grid wheel goes down to full -1. So if you are the last car 1 lap down, then you won't be in with a shout of the reverse grid. It's a new rule for this year, as we look here at a battle for 17th place. This is going on between Colin Cunliffe in the Northern Lights Racing car and Mark Woodhouse. It looks like they're going wheel to wheel down the back straight. We're looking from the chopper here, and we'll see if the Team Mad car can get the move done up the inside going into the final chicane. This is one of the places that Marco was talking about, but Cunliffe late on the brakes, wheel to wheel, and Woodhouse is going to get it done around the outside, it looks like, and here comes Brian Holmes as well to get in the mix.
Amazing action here. Let's see if they can sort it out in the first corner, or I think this is another chicane. It depends how you look at it. Woodhouse keeps the position, foot on the gas, and tries to run away, but Caniff is right behind him.
Fantastic stuff so far. Looks like it's going to be pretty tricky for cars to work their way through the order, at least in its opening race. We saw something similar at Imola, but then in race 2 and race 3 it just came alive with cars being able to overtake left, right and centre. Ash Sutton nearly got his way to the front. If it wasn't for some disqualifications, he might have been right up there. Looks like he's not here today, so problem there. I know it said Glatzel was out then for a brief moment, but everything's fine. But Stuart McFadden's under pressure, because here comes Nicole Foggy, and Savinovic could easily get a position here if Foggy gets hung out to dry going through this hairpin. But it's in the wall.
In the wall, yeah. Hard hit with the left side.
Let's have a look. This is going to be a great view to watch from Wojciech Savinovic as we go down the back straight. That's not the camera we wanted.
3 wide. Amazing stuff.
Oh, Savinovic could get them both here, and this would be a piece of brilliance if he can. Oh, Stuart McFadden giving it as good as he can get, but and he hits the Northern Lights racing car for good measure as well. But fantastic move by Savinovic, 3 wide down the back straight, Marco, and he was able to get both of them into the final chicane.
Yeah, and now another attempt. We can hear some contact behind. It's all happening in the field. So now Nicole Foggy's lost 2 positions basically, and hit the wall with the left side, and now got it on the right side for good measure, maybe to balance the aero at the final chicane.
Almost as if he intended it to happen. You can see on the top left of the screen that this opening race is a timed race. We're going up to 20 minutes. It may have been Lee Deemer that you might have heard going off. Actually, no, he's come into the pits of his own. Oh no, he might have towed back. So we'll see what happened to Lee Deemer here. Oh no, he just came into the pits normally. So it doesn't look like he's had to tow back. But yeah, a lot of action going out on track here as we look here. This is Paul Smith continuing his battle in the midfield. He's got Rusty Laidler in front, who always provides a lot of entertainment. And we might even have to go a bit further up the field, because someone might be dropping down the order here. It might be Michael Hall. I just saw him dropping back a little bit. Looks like he's been able to regroup. But this is another nice train that we've got going on here. This is at least 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th, but there may even be more cars in there. It really starts from, it looks like this huge train starts from Savinovic in 3rd, Marco.
Yeah. Bumper to bumper basically is, I mean, there are some groups, but every group is like 10 cars deep, so basically it's almost like the entire field is a huge long snake. Of course, the drivers at the front in this first race have it a little bit easier, but it won't be that easy for them. And we see now Paul Smith trying to make the move, stays behind Rusty Laidler.
Yeah, Paul Smith doing okay. Also, Stuart McFadden is giving it back to the reigning champion Wojciech Savinovic, and forces. Oh, Wojciech quarter panels him!
Hard hit, very hard hit. That's race over for him.
Yeah, concrete wall doesn't give much, and poor Stuart McFadden, he's going to try and get it back to the pits, but I think he can do nothing. And that's a disaster for him, and I wonder if a penalty could be heading Savinovic's way. Out of the corner. Savinovic just stays there, and takes Stuart McFadden out. And Marco, I don't know if you've seen a replay, but yeah, your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, he maybe get him back on the track, but it was a very hard hit. He was clear in front, so maybe his opponent could have lifted just a little bit. It's a matter of inches in those moments, but McFadden car is completely destroyed. Hard hit. The car was basically stopped in the wall. So even if he can get back on track, which he did, I think his race is over.
Pete Harrods had a slowdown penalty on this lap. He was higher than 10th position, but he's in there now, and he's got a bit of ground to make up to the rest of the train, which is now starting to all form behind Wojciech Savinovic. You'd have expected the reigning series champion to push on from here and catch up to Glatzel and Newman, who are now 5 seconds up the road, but no. This is the battle now, and Savinovic takes a huge amount of curb going out the final corner. Could be an opportunity for Nicole Foggy here. Looks like he's got a much better run on the exit. But no way through going into the first corner. He does close up, and you can see a lot of damage to the front of the Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis car as well.
So damage to the front, the left and the right. As I said, better aero efficiency this way.
Oh, crash. This is Nathan Davis in the Apex racing car. See what happens here. The Welshman was on his own. And he goes into the final corner. Oh, there's an Automech car that catches him unawares and he goes for a wild ride, flipping up and over. Unfortunately, oh, no.
Oh!
I thought that they were all going to miss him, Marco, but unfortunately one of the Automech cars hits him as well.
Yeah, we were very lucky at Imola, if you remember, with the car that flipped on the front stretch and everybody managed to avoid him brilliantly, but here it's tight quarters, almost impossible to avoid the car that stopped on the exit of the final chicane.
Yeah, you can see both Davis and McFadden have returned to the pits. Two cars that have been in the wall so far. But still, this battle for the final spot on the podium continues to rage. Nicole Foggy trying everything he can to work his way through the hairpin. Going to be really interesting to see when we have the hotter temperatures later for race 2. Well, at least that's what the plan is. How they're going to handle that hairpin, because after a few laps, especially with these front-wheel drive Kia Optimas, that corner is going to be very difficult to handle, Marco, just because there'll be no grip left on those tyres.
Yeah, they have huge problems in real life as well on that corner, and it's going to be with the front wheel drive in a much more problem. Now Foggy on the inside, first corner, dives in. Oof.
He's trying.
Vidovic, yeah, but Vidovic says no. Great racing, great racing.
Yeah, saw some great racing in race 2, similar. Also good racing between Laidler and Paul Smith. Oh, and Laidler hits the back of him. They're a little reminder that he's there, and these two know each other well, and looks like they're having a good battle here for 14th on the track. Oh, Laidler running a bit wide, gives Paul Smith the opportunity. I wouldn't try and overtake and move around the outside of this corner after seeing what happened on Sunday. And even that corner looks difficult in a front-wheel drive car. You're just understeering. You're almost understeering into the wall as you go through there. Yeah.
It gives you the illusion that you have space, but don't have space, and you take the corner even a little bit too tight and get pushed into the outside wall.
Looking from the front of Nicole Foggy here. Gets a much tighter line on the exit of the hairpin as he continues his fight with Savidovic. You can see as well we're 13 minutes into this race. It's a 20-minute race. Race 2 and race 3 should be done by laps. And you can see also by the stripes down the timing tower that the highest AM driver, the one with the green stripe, is Martin Front, who is in 12th position as things stand. Our championship leader, Jack Regan, is in 7th. So he's in this massive train too. So we'll see if he can gain any positions as the race goes on. But for now, it is a bit of a stalemate here as we come across the line. We're approaching the closing stages of the race, and I wonder if all the drivers are saving or keeping their cards close to their chest here for the closing stages when they can mount one final attack.
People might be asking themselves, why do we have these huge white curves on the inside of the rumble strips? It is because this track was scanned during a NASCAR Xfinity Series race. They had the track especially prepared for NASCAR. So while with the Kia it's not a problem, also gives those amazing bounces, two wheels in the corner. With the Formula cars is a little bit of a problem, even with the little formulas like the Skip Barber. But with the Kia it's a good.
Shame that NASCAR haven't been to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in recent years. I remember the first ever wet race I think a NASCAR series held was at this very track, fitting windscreen wipers and some wet tyres. It was quite something.
Yeah, some drivers were using a Swiffer to clean their front window by getting the arm outside of the car and then trying to clean the front of the window like that, like they were cleaning their own window. It was pretty hilarious. Yeah,
it's a rare thing seeing a NASCAR race in the wet, but it's dry here today in the BSRTC, and can Nicole Foggy get into the podium positions, or maybe even Dan Kraft in the CQR car in 5th place there. He could mount an opportunity if he'll take an opportunity if the two cars in front make a mistake. Looking back further through the field, Paul Smith and Chris Wood. Seem to be mentioning Paul Smith quite a lot today, but he's always either been chasing someone or is being chased, like he is right now by Chris Wood going through the final corner. And also Jack Sedgwick's there too, along with Dave Baker and Colin Cunniff. Here's a bit of procession here, but Jack Sedgwick, he aims to change that, and no wonder. He's gained 23 positions since the start of the race as Paul Smith looks at the inside of Laidler. This could be position number 24 for Sedgwick, and it is. He's up to 16th place, past Chris Wood. And that's now 24 places gained for Sedgwick. So while some cars have found it difficult to overtake, Sedgwick, like he did at Imola 2 weeks ago, Marco, is proving that you can pass around this circuit.
Yeah, he also had a great race last night here on Apex Racing on the Le Mans Series, when he finished second in the GT class with a lot of damage. Managed to basically stay behind the leader the entire race, very close. The damage was too much for him to try and overtake. He's a great driver and he's showing it again today.
Well, while Jack Sedgwick could be about to get past, it looks like Savidovic could be about to get passed by Foggy here going into the hairpin. Not long left of this race. It is one of our shorter laps of the year, but Foggy could be in here if he can outbrake Savidovic going into the hairpin. This could be third place for the Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis car as we go wheel to wheel down the back straight.
Yeah, 2 by 2, 4 cars lined up together. Let's see, Foggy has the outsides, not gonna be easy.
Oh, he's overshot it.
Yeah, that's the trouble there. And it's going to be a slowdown and a side relief for Svidovic for at least a little bit of time.
Yeah, that buys him a little bit of time. Next up is Dan Kraft. It'll be his turn to try and get past the Apex Racing driver. Back to Paul Smith and Chris Wood. Well, it's not Chris Wood anymore, it's Jack Sedgwick. It's Sedgwick past Smith, and that's 25 positions gained. And the way Sedgwick's going, he could even get by Laidler by the time this race comes to its conclusion. And he's just siving his way through the pack here, and he could get Laidler into the first corner. Laidler says no.
They touch!
Oh. Well, I think Laidler was moving across. How's me? Oh, Laidler's...
Again, they touch.
Yeah. Laidler's saying you can't get by me, mate. And Paul Smith is now up the inside of him too. So Laidler is going to have to sacrifice one position at least. Sedgwick's now under pressure from Chris Wood as they go through the second of the chicanes. And here comes Dave Baker too. So it's all kicking off here. All because Laidler refused to let Jack Sedgwick get by going into that first corner. Sedgwick, though, Marco, he hasn't lost too much time. You can probably try again in a minute. He's got Laidler directly in front of him again.
Yeah, I think he will try again. Will not be very happy with that move.
Right, through the further chicanes. Great run. Fantastic run by Jack Sedgwick. Laidler knows it. Paul Smith blocks the inside line, though. He is there, Rusty. That is very close indeed as we get on the brakes.
Oh, again they touch!
Well, I think Laidler was trying to defend from Sedgwick and he inadvertently ran into Paul Smith there, and it's still not over yet.
Another bumper.
Yeah, the handbags are coming out here down the back straight. Why have I got the feeling that this is not going to end well as we come down the back straight now? Sedgwick.
Maybe some problem from Daniel Kraft. I'm seeing falling down of the...
Oh yeah, he is.
Timing screen as the guys get into the final chicane. Oh!
Oh, it's free wide. It's Smith, it's Laidler, it's Sedgwick. Here comes Baker as well as they come across the line onto lap 12. This looks like it's going to be the final lap. Sedgwick looks like he's got damaged. Oh.
Again they touch. Now Sedgwick and Baker, front to rear.
They must be near their incident limit. I'm sure they're not too far away from it, to be fair. Sedgwick just cannot get by Laidler to save his life. Paul Smith's like, see you later, everybody, I'm out of here. He looks set to be 14th place. Savidovic has gone off, apparently, but he's back on the track. He may have just taken a bit too much curb. And now it's Ross McFarlane that wants to get by. This is going to be the final lap of the race, and third place could be about to change hands again here. Yeah.
Champion has the inside at the hairpin. Third line. He will try to defend the inside again in the backstretch, going to final chicane.
It's going to be tough. We've seen quite a few drivers try to get by Wojciech on the outside, and it end not very well. We're going to have to cut away from this in a moment because here comes Sven Glatzel through the final corner. What a start from Sven Glatzel. started third, got the lead by the time we got to the first corner. Great launch, and he wins the opening race of the day here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Second for Pete Newman. Third is going to be for Wojciech Savinovic. He gets that third place. McFarlane fourth after everybody else fell off. Jack Regan in fifth, Foggy sixth, Hall seventh, Harrod eighth, Simpson ninth, and 10th Dan Kraft. What about Laidler versus Sedgwick versus everybody else? Going into the final corner, Sedgwick takes a lot of curb. It looks like it's settled down a bit now. Dave Baker is going to get 16th place. Sedgwick will still have gained 23 places, but it could have been quite a bit more if it wasn't for all the stuff that was kicking off down at the first corner. And Alex Everett, 25 positions gained as well. What a race this has been for the GT Omega team. 25th for him, 19th place for Mark Johnston. 24th place for Mark Johnston. That's a gain of 19 places. And Kip Stevens, he started at the back of the grid, may even have started from the pit lane. And he comes through to gain 10 positions to finish 35th. And if that's a sign of things to come in the reverse grids, Marco, I think we're in for a very good evening. This is proving to be quite an exciting race meeting so far.
Yeah, just a couple of words for Sven Glatzel. Absolutely professional job. Got a great start and didn't look back from there. Great win for him. Almost risk-free. He managed the pressure from Pete Newman and then went on to win the race. And that's what a good start can do for you, because if you don't have anybody in front, you can at least only concentrate on what you have ahead and on what you have behind.
That was it. Took the lead, and thanks to the likes of Savinovic and McFarlane working their way through the field, it meant that he didn't have to worry at all. Pete Newman didn't mount too much of a challenge in the end. And as the cars go back into the pit lane to complete their opening race, they'll soon be finding out where they're going to be on the reverse grid. Right then, let's run you through the finishing order then from the opening race of the day. As behind that, let's get to the scenic cameras and bring up the race results. Race victory then for Sven Glatzel, 3 seconds ahead of Pete Newman in the end. Wojciech Savinovic finishing in the final podium position in third, and Ross McFarlane fourth. Championship leader Jack Regan in fifth, sixth Nicole Foggy, seventh for Michael Hall, 8th Pete Harrod, 9th Alex Simpson, gain of 8 places there, and 10th for Dan Kraft. 11th for Jake Blackhall, the Aussie. He started where he finished. He finished where he started. Then 12th for Martin Front, Matt Bunn in 13th. Paul Smith, good job there, finishing in 14th place. Rusty Laidler, 15th, 8 positions gained. Then Dave Baker in 16th. Then Jack Sedgwick, 23 positions gained, was in the thick of it towards the end there. Finished in 17th. Colin Cunniff, 18th. 19th for Mark Woodhouse, and 20th for Brian Holmes. 21st place for Alex Everett, 25 positions gained as well. Then it's Chris Wood in 22nd, 23rd for Adam McNally, 24th for Mark Johnston, 19 positions gained as well for the Simmortal driver. Then Julian Chinovsky in 25th, then 26th for Adam Hadfield, 27th for Maciek Sakovic, 28th for Craig Williams, then Tristan Bodis, then Lorne Murray, then Stephen Burke in 31st place, 32nd for Scott Malcolm, 33rd for Michael Blake, 34th Andreas Katz, Kip Stevens finishing in 35th, 36th for Max Wright, 37th for Rob Graham, and then 38th Jackie Lotterman, Laura Bond and Lee Deemer in issues, and Nathan Davis, Stuart McFadden, we saw heavily into the wall after the collision with Wojciech Savinovic. He was 6 laps down in the end. And then Jamie Rushworth off in the wall of champions early on, and Matt Keeber and Dave Crozier were out very early on as well, and Ben Mears out very early on too, but for some reason he's not on the results. Right then, it is the time of the evening for the reverse grid. I'll quickly find it. One thing I always forget whenever I'm setting up one of the broadcasts here. Right then, I'm hoping I get the right screen. We do. And we're going to spin the wheel, and Marco, I'll happily rely on you to tell us which driver it is. Oh, hello. There it is. Right, here we go. First reverse grid spin of the day. Let's see who's going to be on pole for race 2. It's going to be 35. Who's that on pole position, Marco?
Should be Kip Stevens.
Oh, there we go. So Kip Stevens, 10 positions gained. And he's going to start race 2 on pole position. Cat second, Blake third, Malcolm fourth, Stephen Birkin fifth. And all those fast guys that finished the race at the front, finished race 1 at the front, they're going to have their work cut out in the second race to get to the front. We'll see who can master it best after the break here on Apex Racing TV. This is the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship.
So Kevin S just saying it wasn't my fault. Louise, yes.
So what we all know that the Ginettas have had issues getting to this point to even be on track. And so what they're saying is each session they've just got targets, and their target was to get ahead of the LMP2s, which they've now done. So now they've just got to take another step up. And in fact, after everything they've been through, spirits are still high within that camp.
That's exactly what we want to hear. You know, they're not here to make up the numbers. They want to have a strong race with a brand.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV. Welcome back to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We're getting set for the second race of the day here at Montreal, Canada. Of course, some people saying the world's greatest motor race taking place at Le Mans this weekend, but I think we could give them a run for their money. Kip Stevens starts on pole position as we get the grid up on the screen. Second is Andreas Katz. Third, Michael Blake. Fourth, Scott Malcolm. Fifth, Stephen Burke. Then it's Lorne Murray, Tristan Bottas, Craig Williams, Maciek Sakovic, Adam Hadfield, Janowski and Johnston. Moving on back, it's Chris Wood, Alex Everett, Brian Holmes, Mark Woodhouse, Colin Cunniff, Jack Sedgwick and Dave Baker as the rest of the grid goes through on the screen. Adam Bath here with Marco Barbanera. And Marco, great first race. Now we've got the reverse grid to deal with, and we're going to see in this one, it's pretty cool conditions again, who the best drivers are to fight through the field.
Yeah, we usually see that the first race is usually the calmer one, and then race 2 and race 3, it gets crazy. So let's see what happens here.
Green.
Runs away. 12 laps here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and great start by Kip Stevens. Maybe watch out for Michael Blake as well as we go into the first corner. See if the Samorsal car can cause an upset. Oh, he touches him and he's gone, and so is everybody else. Quite a few Automet cars gone. Oh,
the pile-up continues. This is a big one. A big crash. Big crash.
Massive traffic jam. I don't think they're going to throw a safety car because it's not a complete track blockage. You can see Paul Smith is in there as the whole timing screen goes absolutely potty. Fortunately, not too many cars are out. We'll quickly see how many have towed back to the pits, but Paul Smith was definitely one of them. We saw a few Automet cars in there. Rob Graham, Mark Woodhouse, another Team Mad car, Max Schreitz. Alex Simpson was involved as Colin Cunniff gets barged into by somebody else. And Craig Williams is going at it with Adam Hadfield, Mark Johnston, sorry, as we go into the right-hander here at one of the chicanes. So action everywhere you look in the early going. Martin Frunz had to tow back to the pits too. So 2 cars already in strife as we go towards the hairpin. It's Williams in the Pro Sim car versus Mark Johnston here as we get on the brakes for the first time.
Yeah, Williams has the inside, once again the preferred line. He keeps it, rides out the curb. His opponent has a very good exit, let's see, because of course having the inside is the key to having a successful run into the final chicane.
Good starts already from Nicole Foggy. He's gained 10 places, Jackie Losserman 12, Nathan Davis 13 as Craig Williams and Johnston go wheel to wheel into the final chicane. There's a rare boosted car. We don't have too many of them today, as John Roberts alluded to in the chat. It's Julian Janowski in 8th position. He's representing the team really as Kip Stevens comes across the line to complete the opening lap of the race. He's already trying to keep Katz at bay. Katz a 2-time champion in the BSRTC, but then again, so is Kip Stevens. So 2 champions going to be duking it out here as things stand. And the front 3, Marco, of Stevens, Katz and Bottas in the boosted car already have left everybody else for dead here.
Yeah. Taking a little bit of a gap from the cars behind them. I see on my second monitor Alex Simpson limping back to the pits, trying to stay at least only 1 lap down, while Andreas Katz tries to make a move coming into the 3rd chicane here.
Yeah, Alex Simpson knows well enough that if he can just stay 1 lap down, then I'll be in with a shout of the reverse grid for race 3. Great run by Katz on the exit. Stevens knows he's going to have to defend the inside going into the hairpin, but sometimes we've seen that's not enough, especially with the way these football drive cars handle on the exit. Stevens parks the car beautifully on the inside. That's the experience coming in there, and Katz for now will have to remain in that 2nd place as more battles going on further down the top 10. Big train here made up of the likes of Chris Wood, Alex Everett, Julian Janowski. No, pretty much everyone in the whole field separated by less than half a second. That is how close things are after just 2 laps, Marco.
Yeah, if they don't battle, they have a good chance of catching back to the leaders, because the leaders are battling. So we see Tristan Bottas staying pretty calm in 3rd position, whilst Stevens and Katz are fighting against each other.
Tristan Bottas did set the fastest lap of the race as we went across the line. That honour's now gone to Craig Williams with a 41.3, and you are right, Marco, they could start get a little bit closer, but at the same time, Lorne Murray's having to do some defending from Adam Hadfield here, and going into the 2nd chicane, Hadfield did have a look at the inside. Look at the way that Murray attacked that second chicane there. You could hear the tyres squealing for mercy. But we might have to go further up the road because Stevens is... Oh, Katz nearly sold the dummy there going into the third chicane.
Yeah. It fooled me here, and he almost fooled his opponent. But Adam Hadfield tries to make a move again.
Yep, looks like Hadfield could get it done. One of the Pro-Am drivers battling another one in Lord Murray. Oh, he's not going to make that corner. Oh!
And the other's contact.
Murray spun. He's in the wall. And that's not gone at all well. Here it is again. Murray. Oh, the two made contact, and then that was Williams hitting him and sending him off into the wall. So that is really unfortunate for the for Murray there, because things were going pretty well. And one thing you can also see is that Kip Stevens has pulled a little bit away from Andreas Katz, who looks like he possibly has a slowdown because he's not as quick as he once was, Marco.
Yeah, now he's side by side with Bodis, and Bodis makes the move into the final chicane and gets P2.
So, spanner in the works. I was thinking before this race got underway that it was going to be Katz versus Stevens for the win, and Katz maybe even had a chance of getting the lead pretty early on. But look at this! Two wide, quite a few cars deep. This is Janowski, Everett. They've got Wood in there as well. We've got Brian Holmes. This is all over fourth place apparently. And it's wheel to wheel on the exit between the Apex car of Holmes and Chris Wood as well as we go into the second chicane. The Apex car's going to get it done. That's Brian Holmes through into 8th place now, and Jack Sedgwick's in there too.
Yeah, meanwhile Katz got second position back in the first corner. So it's back with Stevens, Katz and Bodis 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, just having a look at that on the replay now. Katz up the inside, pretty straightforward. And yeah, Andreas Katz, the two-time BSRTC champion, can now continue his chase after Kip Stevens. A third of the way through then this race, lap 4 of 12. And what an intriguing one this is turning into be. Jackie Losserman has had to tow back to the pits. Don't know what's happened to Jackie. Let's see if we can find... Oh my goodness, they're over. Let's have a look. Oh, well, the Apex car of Nathan Davis might have some answering to do there. That was pretty interesting there. I don't know how they're going to apportion blame for that one, but it looks like that Davis just ran Lotterman out of road. And that was where two cars were crashing in the Formula 1 on Sunday. So, issues there.
Yeah.
Do you have a chance to see that, Marco?
Yeah. It looked a little bit like the crash we had on Sunday. So, again, the wall there does not forgive you. You hit the wall and the car basically stops. And now, again, we have a great battle for P1.
All of a sudden, it all sticks.
Oh, slow down for Tristan. Oh, slow down, sorry, for somebody stopped on the track.
Oh, Katz has just towed back to the pits.
What,
well, I don't know
what is going on here?
Yeah, no idea. At first I thought it was just a slowdown, but no
because
idea.
He had an amazing run. He had an amazing run on the front stretch.
Well,
wow.
Nature may have called, or there was someone at the door, or a phone needed answering. Who knows? Andreas Katz's race is run, and this is great for Kip Stevens because he's now got a 1.6 second advantage over Tristan Bodis, who is going to be very happy as well in second place. This really opens things up for second now because we've got Mark Johnston, who's coming at a fair rate of knots. We've got Hadfield, we've got Everett, we've got Janowski and Holmes. But for Andreas Katz, that is him out of this second race, and no idea what's happened. I think he's even exited the session as well, so
yeah.
It's not even as if he's going to be getting back in the race, so no idea what's happened to Katz, but that is his race run as Stevens now, 1.5 second advantage. We'll see if anyone can eat into that. And also, it's very lively for fourth place. Alex Everett trying to get past Mark Johnston here. And these two are now going to go
side.
Yeah,
running side by side on the backstretch. We've seen again, for example, before we had Craig Williams having the inside on the backstretch, but he lost the position to the car on his outside going into the final chicane, so it's not a given. And once again, the same happens here.
Seems to be if you're on the outside, that's how things work out for you. Great move there by Alex Everett, the Welshman overtaking the Briton. But look at this, it's a switchback, and now Hadfield has the opportunity to get the position back here as we go over the line and into the first corner. Up the inside goes the Simmortal car, but Everett holds his nerve around the outside, and It'll take a brave man to get that move done, and a well-skilled person as well, as we go behind the trees. And yeah, Alex Everett through into 4th place. See if he can now chase the cars that are fighting up the road, because the battle for 2nd place could be about to become the battle for 1st, because Kip Stevens, the gap was 1.5 seconds about a lap ago. It's now down to half a second as Bodis and Johnston start to reel in the 2-time champion.
Never a boring race in this championship. We are very sorry for what happened to Andreas. I have never seen anything like that. I have to be honest. And I thought maybe the race for 1st position was over, but the BSRTC Pro Series is never dull. We once again have a 3-way battle for the 1st, with more cars coming from the back.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Alex Everett, who's gained 11 positions, so he could be one to watch in the 2nd half of this race. We've still got half of it to go. Also, Janowski up the inside of the Immortal car. There's an Apex car out of control as well that was on the grass briefly there. That was Brian Holmes. He was able to regather the Apex car and carry on. We've got Jack Sedgwick, who was the biggest mover in the last race. He gained 25 positions. Sorry, 23 positions during the race, during race 1. He's gained 12 so far. Could he gain those extra 6 or so to get to the front? There is still time, but he has got to find his way past all these cars in front as we go into the final chicane again. And Janowski could be under real pressure here from Hadfield as we come across the line, and also the battle for 2nd looks pretty lively as well as they go on to lap 7. And Jack Sedgwick's at a control marker as he tries to get past Hadfield.
Yeah, almost sideways. He saved the car. Now he is on the outside of his opponent, Hadfield, and he's trying to make the move into the 2nd chicane, and he does. Great
move. Also, Craig Williams. This is a huge battle for 9th. We've got Cunniff in here, we've got Chris Woods, we've got Nicole Foggy, we've got Anna McNally, and we've got Rusty Laidler as well, who was providing fireworks for us in the opening race of the day. And Williams is really struggling for grip as he slides his way through the 3rd of the chicanes. Meanwhile, Tristan Bodis is having to defend quite a lot for 2nd place as the battles throughout the field just continue. As here comes Mark Johnston and Alex Everett starting to get a little bit closer to these two now, Marco.
Yeah, we are in lap 7, so halfway through the race, 12 laps race, and now the attack from Mark Johnston in the inside.
There he goes. The pro driver racing against the Pro-Am driver, but Bodis, he comes back on the outside. It's one of the unique things about this circuit, and especially in these Kia Optimas, that if you hold it out around the outside, you do get the launch on the exit. You can see in the background as well, Jack Sedgwick. He's about to get by Julian Janowski here going into the final corner. See if this one works. It duly does. Oh, and he forces off Adam Hadfield. That wasn't at all polite, and he's had to take across the infield. That's going to be a slowdown penalty as well. So unfortunate for Hadfield there, because that was nothing of his own making, and he's now going to pay the penalty for it.
Yeah, and the field is so tightly bunched, even on lap 8 now, you lose a lot of position.
Yeah, 2/3.
Disaster.
Yeah, 2/3 of the way through this race. And we still are none the wiser of who's going to win it. Kip Stevens has got a 1.3 second lead. Well, he had that at one point earlier on, and that all quickly evaporated. We've apparently got 6 cars in the fight for the lead. 6 cars separated by 1.5 seconds is what the graphic, I think, is telling me anyway. Everybody's they're all gonna meet with a few laps to go, I think. Jack Sedgwick, if we get the last lap times up on the screen, did a 1:42.8. You can see Stevens and Johnston did 1:43s, and Everett was the only other driver to do the 1:42s as well. So at the moment, Sedgwick and Everett are 2 of the quickest cars on the track as they're chasing after these 2 podium positions.
Yeah, all the first 5-6 positions can be shuffled from now until the end of the race. These drivers are so close and so evenly matched, and Sedgwick is doing an amazing race 1 and a great race 2 as well.
Just had a quick look at Dave Baker, one of our championship contenders. He was 2nd going into this race meeting. He's going wheel to wheel with Michael Blake. This is for 16th and 17th place, going down the back straight. Further up the field, you can see Craig Williams. They're pretty much in the same train. Craig Williams versus Colin Cunniff going into the chicane here. 2 wide in some places. Look at the way Williams throws the car. Ooh. Just about misses the wall. I think a few sparks went there.
Yeah. And Cunliffe tries to pass him now on the inside of the first chicane. Good run. And a good pass.
Looks like Tristan Bodice may have picked up a slowdown penalty going through that final chicane. He's now dropped down to 7th, so that gives Alex Everett and Jack Sedgwick another position. That's Sedgwick up to 4th, Everett up to 3rd. There's Williams and Cunliffe at it again. This is great for Cunliffe, but there's for Foggy, but there's just no way through. This is where you don't want to get on the dirty stuff out there. And this is really bottling things up as Cunliffe up the inside. Now it's going to be the inside for Williams. So close to quarter panelling each other there on the exit. Now here comes Nicole Foggy. He could even provide a bump draft here as we go down the down this short straight into the next chicane.
Look at the huge amount of cars trying to fight for centimeters of space on the track.
Unfortunately, we might have to leave this battle because it's kicking off for the lead. This is it. Oh, Everett, he's rubbing door handles there with Mark Johnston. Kip Stevens all of a sudden broke away again at one point on the live timing. He was about a 10th of a second ahead. That's all it was. And this battle for the lead takes another twist here as Everett looks up the inside of Johnston, but that Sim Auto car has got a lot of top speed behind it. But Everett is late on the brakes. Oh!
In the wall!
And Sedgwick could get both of them here if he plays his cards right as we come across the line. Looks like it's not too much damage because it's one of the few parts of the circuit where we've got a tyre wall rather than a plain concrete wall. And Johnston's not going to make the corner. Well, he just about does. And Sedgwick now is in the catbird seat here to get second place. He could even do it into this chicane if he's late on the brakes. Johnston very late, round the outside, and is able to hold on. This is music to Kip Stevens' ears as they nearly touch again, Marco.
I think they touched a little bit of a bump there. Saw some sparks fly now on the inside of the chicane.
Oh, this is close. Sedgwick around the outside. If he's got enough top speed behind him and he can outbrake this Immortal car, he will be in second place, and then he'll have 2.5 laps to catch Kip Stevens. But Johnston, he's not giving up. He's back up the inside. They touch again. Oh! And now here comes Alex Everett. He's now going to be in second place. Kip Stevens now has got 2.5 second advantage. And could we be getting the champagne hours? Janowski's out of control.
No!
Fortunately, Johnston doesn't hit anybody.
Wow, I thought that was going to be a bowling strike.
Yeah, they all nearly fell down there. Here it is again. Right, Janowski in the boosted car. Watch him. He gets on the brakes. He's on the dirty side of the track. The car slides about and he hits the Sim Auto car. Unfortunately, Johnston does not hit anybody. And well done to all the drivers in front that will have looked in the mirrors and seen what was coming. But what this means, Marco, is that Kip Stevens, late in the race now with 2 laps to go, has what I reckon an insurmountable lead. He's got 2.6 seconds in the lead. Oh, another one!
No.
What has happened here? This is Janowski again. Let's have a look. There's an Apex car on the grass. I don't think you were going to get by there, Brian Holmes. And poor Janowski, he's punted into the wall. And he's had to tow back to the pits as well, Marco. Unbelievable. Well, this battle for second place still isn't over. It's not going to be for the win anymore. But Alex Everett and Jack Sedgwick, 2 of the drivers that have worked their way through the field, they've gained 13 and 16 places respectively. And now they're fighting over the runners-up spot as Sedgwick moves to the outside going into the next chicane. Oh my goodness me. Can't call this second place here. Sedgwick, he's rubbing. Oh, they are so close to touching. They must have touched just a tiny bit going into the hairpin. And Everett's able to hold on, but he's got to hold on for a few more kilometres because we've still got 1 more lap to decide this. Kip Stevens will, no doubt, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, be en route to a victory for ProSim. But further back in the field, we've got Colin Cunliffe and Williams still at it. Foggy's been able to get by these 2, but Marco, they're still at it. Don't know if we've still got Marco or not. I don't know. But yeah, going into the chicane. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go, and you can see Cunniff's finally got it done on Williams. So that is Cunniff into 8th place. Sedgwick versus Holmes now. It's not even Sedgwick either. It's Sedgwick through into 2nd place. It's Everett versus Holmes. Into the chicane. Tristan Bottis is back. Williams hits him. Surely he's running the risk of a DQ. He's now cutting the course. That's a slowdown penalty. Through goes Tristan Bottis into 4th place. He could even get a podium here if he's careful. Less than half a lap to decide it now as Everett, who at one point looked like he could be about to win the race, is having to defend the final spot on the podium here. Now on the way to the hairpin. Can Bottis bring a surprise? Car 58 in 4th place. Pro-Am driver driving for Boosted. Janowski did that move earlier. Oh! And you can see he was struggling for grip there as well. Literally nothing on the outside of that, on the inside of that hairpin. But meanwhile, you can see Kip Stevens, a man on his own. He was troubled by so many different drivers during this race. He had Katz that looked like he might be able to make an attempt to get through. And then he retired for, I don't know why. And then we had Everett and Sedgwick trying to get by him. And then they fell off the track and came back on. And Kip Stevens has risen above it all. And he's going to come across the line to win the 2nd race here brilliantly. Jack Sedgwick gets 2nd. 3rd for Alex Everett. And then we're going to move back through the field because it's a drag race here between Dave Baker and Chris Wood. Who's going to get in at the line? It's Baker by a few hundredths of a second. Savinovic, drag race to the line there for 17th and 18th. It was Rushworth that got there at the line. He gained 26 positions. What a race that was by Jamie Rushworth. And Sven Glatzel pretty close indeed as to Pete Newman at the line. Just a few hundredths of a second in there as well. As we've got Laura Bond coming across the line for ProSim, 33rd. We got Dave Crozier. We've got Lorne Murray as well coming across the line in 36th place. And I think that is everybody. I know we're waiting for Stephen Burke. Here comes Steve Burke, UK and Ireland driver. Across the line. He's going to get 37th place. Well, I hope we get Marco back soon. But let's run you through the finishing order from a crazy 2nd race. What a fantastic job by Kip Stevens to get it done. We'll have a reverse grid, of course, for the final race. And let's bring up the finishing results then. Stevens wins. 2nd for Jack Sedgwick. 3rd for Alex Everett. Those two gaining, Sedgwick and Everett gaining 17 and 12 places on their way to those 2 podium finishes. Next up, Tristan Bottis finishing in 4th, then Brian Holmes, Nicole Foggy, Mark Johnston, Craig Williams in 8th, 9th Colin Cunniff and 10th Adam Hadfield, 11th Michael Hall, 12th for Rusty Laidler, then Chris Wood in 13th, 14th for Dave Baker, then Anna McNally 15th, 16th for Michael Blake, 17th for Wojciech Savinovic, for Jamie Rushworth, and then 18th for Wojciech Savinovic for Jake Blackwell in 19th, and 20th for Dan Kraft. 21st place for Ross McFarlane, then Matt Bunn in 22nd. Pete Harrod finishing in 23rd. 24th place for Jack Regan, championship leader. Then Pete Newman, 25th. 26th for Sven Glatzel. 27th place finish for Stuart McFadden. 28th for Maciek Sakovic. 29th place for Mark Woodhouse. And then 30th for Max Wright. Rob Graham, 31st. 32nd for Ben Mears. He started pretty much stone dead last and was able to come through and gain 13 positions to 32nd. Then Laura Bond in 33rd, Lee Deemer 34th, 35th for Dave Crozier. Then it's Lorne Murray, Steve Burke, Julian Janowski, then Andreas Katz. Don't know what happened to him. Then Jackie Lotterman put into the wall by Nathan Davis. It looked like Davis retired from that too. Then Scott Malcolm, Paul Smith out, Martin Front out, and Alex Simpson out as well. And what was a pretty bad race for Apex there. 3 cars all having issues, and it looks like in the end all of them having unrepairable damage. So they are going to be starting at the back of the grid for this final race. And if we look, looks like if we do get a full -1, it will be Lorne Murray on the pole. So we'll watch out for that, because it is time to do the final reverse grid draw of the evening. So let's see who is going to be on the pole. There's a reverse grid wheel. Now let's spin it. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be a full -2. So Janowski was the last car 1 lap down. In fact, we could bring the results up again, I think, on the screen so we can prove who's going to be on the pole. It's going to be, so -1 would be Murray, -2 is going to be Dave Crozier. So Crozier is going to be on the pole position for the final race of the day. In fact, I'll lie, actually. No, it's Lorne Murray. Lorne Murray's definitely on the pole position for the final race of the day. Sorry, Stephen Burke, I didn't include you in that. It's Lorne Murray on the pole, Dave Crozier second, Lee Deemer third, Laura Bond fourth, Ben Mears going to be starting in fifth. So Lorne Murray on the pole for the final race of the day here in the BSRTC. And it's going to be coming up after the break here on Apex Racing TV.
That on Edo.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV for the final race of the day here in the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship here from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. And I'm back here with Marco Barbonero, and a rare opportunity for us to talk about something we're having to worry about, the action on track, Marco. So far, from what you saw in the second race before the incident went a bit weird, been one of the best race meetings we've had so far.
Absolutely, and it's luckily for the drivers, is staying consistent with the weather. Another cloudy race here with the track temperature basically the same like we had in race 1 and race 2. So I'm expecting more of the same in this third race of the evening.
Yeah, we can see just on the race info, 18 degrees Celsius the air temperature, track temperature 21 degrees, so not much more. So I'm sure the drivers are very happy that that it isn't any higher than that, because we were talking about earlier that if it was, then some of the corners like the hairpin in the first corner would have been very tough indeed to get any overtaking done at all. One driver that we've noticed that's caught our eye so far tonight, Marco, is Jack Sedgwick. He gained 23 positions in race 1, and he could have had the opportunity to win in race 2 if he didn't get embroiled in some of the battles for second place in that second race. He's been just as he was in Imola, one of the drivers to watch.
Yeah, as I said yesterday, he was amazing in the official Le Mans series here on Apex TV, and he's proving once again why he's one of the best drivers in the world. And let's see, I'm hopeful for this third race. I have no idea about the starting grid. Sadly, my connection got too excited after that crash in the first corner at the penultimate lap of the race. But I don't know if he is in a position to win, and if he starts at the front of the pack, he's once again a contender.
Well, the cars are heading down to the grid, and let's run you through how they're going to line up. It is Dave Crozier starting on the pole position. Well, looks like the stewards decided to disagree with me and go with Dave Crozier instead of Lorne Murray. So, sorry, Lorne, I did try my best. Lee Deemer starting in second, the Welshman. Laura Bond third, Ben Mears in fourth, fifth Rob Graham, then it's Max Wright, then it is Mark Woodhouse, Magic Sakovic, Stuart McFadden, Sven Glatzel, Pete Newman, Jack Regan, the championship leader, starting in 12th. 13th on the grid is going to be Pete Harrod, then it's Matt Bunn, Ross McFarlane, then Dan Kraft, Jake Blackhall, Savidovic, Rushworth and Blake. Just before we go green, Marco, any driver inside that top 10 stand out for you?
Well, I'm expecting a lot from Glatzel and Woodhouse.
There we go, short and sweet. Here we go. Good start from Crozier. He's able to hold on to the lead. It's a good start. It's a good start from Rob Graham, actually. He's up the inside of Bond. Oh, God! Oh, that's a disaster. That is our leader, Dave. Oh, God, it's all kicking off. It's Mears.
Oh, the track is blocked. Oh, there's a terrible crash.
Well, I think, yeah, the track is literally blocked. I think they're going to have to throw a safety car here. Oh, and it's kicking off further up the field. We've got Bond in the wall. I think we've lost pretty much the top three. Deemer's been able to carry on, though. He was on the front row, so he's fine, but everybody else gone. Dave Crozier.
Michael Blake has got a lot of problems.
Yeah, Michael Blake as well. These guys aren't the first.
And another crash once again at the chicane.
Michael Blake, you just mentioned him. Laidler, possibly one of the drivers involved as well. Harrod's got a lot of damage to the front of his CQR car. The evening had been going so well, it looked like we were going to survive without too much contact, but it's all happened here at the start of the race. Dave Crozier, our leader, briefly. I was just about to say, Marco, he's not going to be the first. He wasn't the first person to do that. Just lost it on cold tyres going for the first corner.
Yeah, it reminds us of what happened at Imola with Alex Simpson, you remember?
Yeah.
All alone. And this car can be tricky, so...
I'm sure Alex will have been delighted that we've brought that back up. But as things stand, it's Deemer leading the race by 1 second over Max Wright. Then it's Mark Woodhouse, then it's Pete Newman going into the final chicane. And then it's everybody else. You've got Graham, you've got Kraft, you've got McFadden. Sakovic is also in there too. We haven't seen too much of the pole today. Dan Kraft also going at it now. Wheel to wheel with Graham down the front straight. Graham was one of the drivers, had a good start, then dropped back. And Dan Kraft's gained 11 positions at the end of the opening lap. What a fantastic start that has been for the CQR driver. And you can see from the tower as well, quite a few other drivers have gained 10 places. Laidler, Johnston too. Jack Sedgwick, we were talking about him before the race started. He's gained 11 places. He's currently sat in 23rd place. And look at this huge pack that he's got to work his way through in front of him. As, into the wall goes.
Oh, under contact.
Yeah, Wood.
Again, Matthew Bunn is in the wall.
Oh. Wow. Bunn, as he spun. I'll find him on the screen and I'll be able to tell you.
Maybe some trouble for the leader. He's going very, very slow coming into the hairpin.
Oh no. This could be another. This might have been a slowdown.
Maybe not a slowdown.
Well, what this does mean is that Max Wright takes the lead. Or does he? He runs very wide on the exit, and this allows Mark Woodhouse the opportunity to get through. Max Wright did a fantastic job in race 2 at Imola to win there 2 weeks ago, and he finds himself in the lead again, but for how much longer? Because here comes Mark Woodhouse. Woodhouse has won around here. It was Andrew Woodhouse that won at Montreal back in season 7, back in 2014. But Max Wright taking the curbs like a pro.
Oh, in the wall, and they touch.
What did I say? I said he was taking the curves like a pro, and then he went in the wall. And now Mark Woodhouse leads and Newman second. Oh dear.
Well, both of my picks survived the first lap carnage. Oh, and there's a contact.
Touch again. Oh, the CQR cars nearly go into civil war. There's 3 of them here, of Newman, McFadden and Kraft. 2 of them for the Academy team. 1 of them for the CQR official team. Oh, Max Wright hanging in there. This is great for Mark Woodhouse, who's already got a 1.3 second lead. Oh, they touch again and again. Oh! Max Wright surely. Oh, and he nearly goes into Stuart McFadden, but he's able to get on the brakes. Somehow the car's still pointing in a straight line. Well, we're about to find out. Actually, I don't think it is, Marco.
No.
I would have been amazed after hitting a concrete wall whether it would have been pointing in a straight line.
He's fighting with the wheel. You can see trying to go in a straight line, letting now his teammate through. Wow. And now in the grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't turn right. That's it for Max Wright. What a shame. He was leading for a little while, but what this does mean is that Mark Woodhouse has a 1.9 second advantage. Then it's Newman, then it's Stuart McFadden, then it's Dan Kraft, then it's Rob Graham, who's got... and behind them as well, Marco.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
yes,
Sven Glatzel fall down to P35. He was in P10, I think, a few moments ago.
Right, Sven Glatzel. Let's see if something has happened untowards. I can have a look back for you actually here. Looks like he was on his own for a while, but yeah, something might have happened. So we go back to live. Let's have a look going through the final corner. This is Jack Regan. He's got Rob Graham and he's got Wojciech Swidovic of company here as they come across the line. Wojciech on the grass, he nearly did what Brian Holmes did, his teammate, which resulted in Julian Janowski flying off into the wall. Regan round the outside and up the inside of the Auto Met car. There may have been contact. Either way, it was Graham getting sideways. And that's Wojciech through into 6th. Apex car through. And next is the Northern Ice Racing GT Omega car as McFadden and Laidler. No, McFadden and Kraft, I should say, fight over 3rd and 4th. Jack Sedgwick, let's go back in, let's check back in on him because he's gained 18 places, he's up to 16th, he's now got Maciek Sakovic in front of him and he's already looking like he's trying to get past him as well, Marco.
Oh yes, he's trying to look at the inside, let's see, he's got a good run, oh, but he has to, oh, and his opponent cuts the chicane there, a slowdown penalty and easy position for Sedgwick. Yes. And what a slowdown does, look at what's happening behind them.
If you do get it in the early laps, it does seem to hurt you more than it does later on. Look at the gaggle behind. This is everybody, pretty much. Brian Holmes is in there nudging a Youth Energy car. Oh, there's cars getting hit in the hairpin as well. That looked like one of the CQR cars. It was Michael Hall. We've got Alex Simpson somewhere in there as well, along with Nathan Davis, who's gained 16 positions. Martin Frunt's gained 20. And now it's wheel to wheel between the Welshman, Alex Everett and Anna McNally. Down the back straight here, going into the final corner. This is over 16 and 17.
Little bit of contact. Can he stop the car? He gets pushed for good measure.
Typical touring cars, isn't it? As they come across the line. See if anything happens. Oh, Savidovic has been hit. You could see it just up the road. Oh.
Yeah.
And now, now Wojciech is in strife. Let's see what happened then. This is Savidovic going into the first corner. He's trying to get by Jack Regan, the championship leader. They're very close for comfort on the replay. They're going through the first corner. Regan goes for it up the inside and taps the rear of the Apex car, and then Rob Graham just goes flying into the side of him. Don't think that would have done the Apex car much good, and now Wojciech is down to 9th and struggling.
Yeah. His opponent hit the curb, lost a little bit of control of the car, and then hit the Apex car, so nothing Wojciech could have done differently there, I'm afraid.
It's now down to 10th place as Graham and Bunn now at it. Graham looks like he's got issues as well after hitting the side of Savidovic's car. Those are the 2 CQR cars through, and Rushworth has either missed his braking point or could see that Bunn was coming and got out of the way, but it didn't look like it hurt him much in the end. But this is now starting to turn into a bit of a crazy train again.
First race relatively calm, second race crazy, third race is a madhouse every time in BSRTC.
Really is. Graham gets out of the way of Wojciech as well. Looks like he's got issues, he's into the pits. Potential meatball flag for Rob Graham then. Basically, if you've got too much damage, the server does call you in. And now Savidovic might be about to regroup here and chase down Laidler. Laidler breaks superly late though going into the first corner. Will he make the corner though? He just about does. Must have been on the anchors there because he broke so much later than Wojciech. What a great
very late and very. He was covering the inside a lot, so he has not a very good exit there. But the run to the second chicane is so short, can afford to do that.
Some other no-Ts. Alex Simpson, we're looking at him here. He's just trying to get by Martin front. This is the battle over 20th place. Alex has gained 23 positions, so I thought it was worth a mention here. And the Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis car is the latest opponent for Alex to get by here as they go onto this short straight. You can see the Northern Lights Racing car does pull away down the back straight there. So Alex will have to try and gain this time through the corners as they hop over the curbs. And Alex has got a great run here. Marco, hairpin could be the move for the iRacing Road Pro Series champion.
Looking at the inside, let's see. Nice braking, and he gets the position.
Yeah, beautiful move there. It's not over though.
Not over, yeah. We've seen the outside work, especially in race 2 and race 3. The outside is working coming out of the hairpin. And he's going to have to fight for this position with Alex, and now he's filing in behind his opponent, trying to get a little bit of draft. Braking for the final chicane, over the curb, that maybe was a bit too much, let's see. No, it's okay. He was so close to getting a slowdown there, Alex.
Three wise going into the first corner. It's Savidovic, it's McFarlane, it's Blackhall, it's Laidler, it's Foggy, Sedgwick's in there too for good measure. Wojciech getting pushed about by the... Yeah, it's just absolutely... You could throw a blanket over all of them. There's about 10...
there's contact!
Now, that's a slowdown for McFarlane. It might not have been his fault, but I'm sure he put 4 wheels off the circuit here. And this could really shake things up. He's trying to serve it, but everybody's trying to get by him, and they can't. He's trying to get out of the way. Laidler's stuck. He can't do anything. Poor McFarlane just can't... Oh! Laidler's trying to find space.
This is amazing. They saved both cars side by side, banging doors, and now in the chicane.
I think Laidler and Sedgwick, this isn't the first time they've touched. Oh, Sedgwick's off
again, and now this is race over for him.
Oh, yeah, that is game over for Sedgwick. I was just saying that it's probably not the first time these two have met on track, and Laidler was like, "I've had enough of your shenanigans." And Jack Sedgwick, the Bodak car, off into the wall. He's had to tow back to the pits. Race over for the Bodak car. What a shame, because once again he was on a roll.
that pack of car was threading the needle for like 3-4 straight corners. You can survive, be lucky, but sooner or later the mistake comes. I mean, there were two cars that were running door to door, banging into each other for an entire straight and did not crash, but sooner or later it happens.
Yeah, it was a house of cards, one push and it was all going to come tumbling down. And tumble it did there when Laidler and Sedgwick collided. Laidler didn't get away with that either. You'll notice that he's dropped down the order. He's down to 34th place now, so problems for him. Alex Everett's disappeared as well. He's come into the pits, so the Welshman looks like he's picked up something along the way. And what this all means is that we've got a battle for the lead on our hands.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, with 2/3 of the race complete, it's Mark Woodhouse versus Pete Newman for the lead. Team Mad versus CQR Academy. We did mention that Andrew Woodhouse won here, unrelated. At least as far as I'm aware. I don't think Andrew's not said much about that. But Pete Newman trying to get by here and see if he can do it into the hairpin as we look from the rear of Mark Woodhouse.
Covering the inside does the leader. Meanwhile, Daniel Kraft and Swear McFadden are studying the situation from behind, hoping for a mistake to get their opportunity.
Yeah, we're just looking at McFadden here. Yeah, he's sat in 4th place. Possible underdog, should anything happen. And so far in this race, everything's happened. Biggest mover you can see on the timing tower is FRU, which is Martin Front. And we're about to start lap 9, so 3/4 of the race of the way through the race. As this battle for the lead continues as we go into the first corner. Close battle here. We've got Adam Hadfield versus Martin Front. We've got Alex Simpson in here too for good measure. Another battle going on. This is for 15th place. Alex has gained 27 positions. Biggest mover in the field, I believe. Apart from Martin Front. If Alex can get by, he will have gained 28 positions as well. But as we get towards the end of the race, it looks like drivers are struggling for grip, and hence they are struggling to get these overtakes done, as you can hear the tyres squealing as they go through the chicane.
I think that there is not a single car without damage in the entire field. Everybody has banged doors with each other.
Oh,
Alex goes for it.
He's got to watch out because his teammate is there, Nathan Davis. Also, Blackwell's off, just up the road. This is the battle in front of them, I think. And that's going to be a slowdown as well, so that's going to allow Savidovic through. Also, Ross McFarlane is continuing the battle we had earlier, minus Jack Sedgwick and Rusty Laidler. They've got Brian Holmes for company. They've also got Adam McNally there as well in the Youth Energy car. And then you can see that Alex Simpson battle. Holmes getting nerfed out of the way there as he tries to get a move done. McFarlane holds on. This is all over a spot inside the top 11. Blackwell's in 10th, just a bit up the road. And Savidovic is going into battle with Foggy as well as they go into the final chicane.
Good defensive driving by Foggy there, not giving any chance to the champion. As lap 10 will start right now.
Looks like Jamie Rushworth may have picked up a slowdown penalty because he was a bit up the road, but now he's right with those two, isn't he? As they go through the first corner. Yeah, 3 laps to go, lap 10 of 12. Alex Simpson. Still check in on him, he's still trying to get by. No changes in terms of the battle for the lead. It is still Woodhouse, Kraft and McFadden. Actually, no, it has changed, hasn't it? Because Pete Newman's disappeared. He's now down to 5th. So, problem for Pete Newman. Maybe he picks up a slowdown penalty too, because originally he was fighting for lead. Just going to quickly see if I can find that out for you on the replay. Yeah, it was a slowdown for the final corner. That is a shame for Pete Newman because he was looking to get by Mark Woodhouse. And now Woodhouse has got to deal with Dan Kraft. And Kraft is one of the quickest drivers in the series. Oh! Woodhouse, good defensive driving though. Marco covers the inside line going into the hairpin. He's only got to do that though another 2 more times.
Yeah, it sounds easier said than done, and again, not only he has to be concerned by Daniel Kraft behind him, but also McFadden and Regan trying to look for the smallest of mistakes from the guys in front of them and trying to pounce. Is going to be amazing. Let's hope that my connection doesn't get too excited once again with 2 to go.
Yeah, going for the final corner, starting lap 11 of 12. Please don't tell me that's a slowdown for Kraft. It is! Once again, the car that's in second place gets a slowdown penalty. And also a slowdown penalty for Regan too. So this puts Newman back into third place. What a disaster. I know, was that Woodhouse having a moment going for the first corner? The car did sound very sideways, it might have been. But yeah, Woodhouse carries on. The gap between him and McFadden, 7/10 of a second with 2 laps to go. But so far, the BSRTC gods, as it were, are shining down on Mark Woodhouse, because every car that lines up to try and get by him picks up a slowdown penalty. Yeah,
I've been watching him during the entire race, and I have seen that the first corner is not really his strong point. Talking about Mark Woodhouse, he takes a very strange line, but then again, like you said, everybody that gets behind him runs into a little bit of problem. Now let's see if McFadden can make a move.
Yeah, the gap down to 3/10 of a second. We'll see going into the hairpin here. I can see on the timing screen that it is pretty close between the likes of Foggy, Wojciech and Blackhall, but this is the most important battle on the circuit, the battle for the lead. Stuart McFadden won race 3 at Imola.
Oh, they touch! Bump and run!
Oh, nearly.
Door contact. Wow!
Well, Stuart McFadden won race 3 at Imola after he pounced after Alex Simpson crashed on the opening lap of the race. He's now got to try and get by Woodhouse. He will have one more lap to try and get it done. But McFadden, he looks like he's in a bit of a hurry here to get it done going into the final corner. Mark Woodhouse, he's just going to make sure he doesn't get a slowdown penalty. That looks fine enough for me. And a good run on the exit as well by Mark Woodhouse. He's put a good 3/10 of a second in hand. Pete Newman, we possibly can't rule him out either. He's only 9/10 of a second away from McFadden as we get the white flag to start the final lap. Oh no!
See the strange line that Woodhouse takes to the first corner. And what we saw before, you can cover the inside of the hairpin, but with this car I can move you out of the way if needed. So no lead is ever safe. Oh, once again on the grass.
Final lap then of the final race of the evening here in the BSRTC at Montreal. Andrew Woodhouse won at this circuit a few years ago. Could Mark be about to add another Woodhouse into the winners list here? Stuart McFadden, he won race 3 2 weeks ago at Imola. Could he be about to repeat that here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve? He's going to have to go for a move into the hairpin. I think he's just not close enough at the moment. Mark Woodhouse is getting all of the lines perfect as they go through the left-hander. But McFadden's got a pretty decent run on the exit. Let's see if he can get it done into the hairpin. Woodhouse covers the inside line. Could McFadden sell him a dummy? He does, and goes for it.
Oh,
there's no room.
Oh, that's contact.
Well, that was timed to precision by Stuart McFadden, and unless Mark Woodhouse can spring a move up the inside into the chicane, it looks like McFadden's going to make it 2 race-free victories out of 2 here. But look at the slipstream that Woodhouse has got.
He will go for it, and maybe a 3 wide.
Surely not. Through the chicane, Woodhouse gets forced.
No, they touch. Maybe there's a slowdown there.
Here comes Newman. Pete Newman was third. No, he's not going to win it. He's going to be Stuart McFadden that wins it. Pete Newman second. Mark Woodhouse got third. Hopefully he served his slowdown penalty in time, because if he hasn't, then that's going to be a penalty. What an absolutely crazy finish. And Savinovic is in issues as well. He's had to serve a slowdown penalty. He's dropped to 13th place as they come across the line. Hopefully he served it in time. What else is going on? Craig Williams was pretty close. We've got a close battle here between Janowski and Murray. Over the line they go, and we've got Cunniff, and Bond is on her own. She was off in the wall earlier on. And we're just awaiting her and Scott Malcolm to come across the line. And Marco, try and sum up in words what we saw there in that final corner.
Okay, for 1 second I thought maybe the guy in P4 is going to win the race, because I saw the cars swerving and hitting each other, and I said this is going to be a huge pile-up and Daniel Kraft is going to win the race. It did not go that way. I am surprised that none of the guys were penalized by a slowdown there, or maybe they were so good that they removed the slowdown while battling for the win in the final straight. Crazy way to finish the race, and Mark Woodhouse from first to third in the final two corners.
Oh,
No.
He's been penalised. You just saw it happen there as Graham came across the line. He didn't serve his slowdown penalty in time, Mark Woodhouse, and just like Graham Carroll a few years ago, he's lost a whole load of places, and what a shame that was as well. He looked like he was set for the victory. He'd done it all so well, and if we go back on a replay, we can have a look again what happened going into that hairpin. Stuart McFadden timed the overtake to absolute precision, and there's rewind back 10 seconds. Or can I not rewind back that far? Oh, I'm looking at Chris Wood, that's what I'm doing. I wonder why things weren't going on. Right, let's have a look at Woodhouse and Stuart McFadden. Don't think we can, you know, unfortunately. That is a shame.
I think that also Newman got a slowdown because he was really hard on the inside curve there. So basically, the only guy who did not get a slowdown penalty was Stuart McFadden, but he almost crashed into the left side wall after contact with Woodhouse. So absolutely amazing final corner of the race. And this is very sad for Woodhouse because he lost. I think he will be the first car one lap down.
Yeah. Just looking at the move now on the replay, and McFadden he went for the gap up the inside. Woodhouse tried his best to prevent him, but by the time he moved over, McFadden was there for me, and through went the CQR Academy car. Then we'll carry on with this view. Down the back straight they go. The toe that Woodhouse picks up is actually pretty impressive. Down the back straight to close up on McFadden. You can see Newman closing in as well. We thought he could have a chance of winning it. Newman's just like, where do I go? On the brakes they go. We'll slow it. We'll put it into slow motion again. Going into the final corner. Woodhouse is on the outside there with the Union flag on the top. McFadden takes to the inside curb. The two make contact. Woodhouse takes a huge amount of inside curb, which gives him that slowdown penalty. He then hits McFadden. McFadden just about misses the wall, and then it looks like Pete Newman was about to come through and take a shock victory. And then I don't know whether either he had a slowdown penalty too, or he backed out of it because he definitely had the opportunity to go for the win. He decided to settle for second.
He took a lot of inside curb, Pete Newman, but maybe not too much as to get a slowdown penalty. Maybe he didn't want to take the victory away from his teammate. I don't know. It was very close because he had like half of the car over the green part of the curb on the inside coming into the final corner. So eventful finish nonetheless.
Wow, breathe everybody. Stuart McFadden wins. That's 2 race threes in a row for the young Scotsman. Then it's Pete Newman finishing in second to make it a CQR Academy 1-2. Then Northern Lights Racing GT Omega's Jack Regan, the championship leader, getting on the podium in the end following the demise of Woodhouse. Then it's Bunn in 4th, Rushworth 5th, so 4 CQR cars in the top 5. Northern Lights Racing Scuderia Haggis's Nicole Foggy in 6th. Jake Blackhall, the Aussie, 7th. Adam McNally, 8th. 9th for Michael Hall and 10th Brian Holmes. 11th for Wojciech Savidovic. Then Martin Front in 12th. I think I might have missed someone out there, you know. I think I missed out...
Daniel Kraft is in P3. So...
Yeah, Daniel Kraft, yeah. For some reason, he's not on the sheet, so sorry, Dan. Yeah, he's got 3rd and everyone else is... Yeah, he's
we
behind.
can confirm no disqualification for him. He is in the final standing, so
yeah,
I
bet he was worried then. Yeah. Yeah, I'll read the right results. Savidovic finishing in 12th, Martin Front in 13th place, 30 positions gained as well. Great job by him. Ross McFarlane 14th, Nathan Davis in 15th, his teammate Alex Simpson behind him in 16th. Great job by both of those guys actually. Davis 25 places, 28 places gained for Alex Simpson as well. Then Adam Hadfield, 9 places gained for him to 17th. Then 18th for Craig Williams. And then it's Mark Johnston in 19th and 20th place for Pete Harrod. 21st for Sven Glatzel, then Maciej Sakovic. You mentioned Glatzel earlier having issues. Sakovic had a penalty too, I think. Paul Smith, he had an awful turn 1 in race 2, but he managed to fight his way through the field to get 23rd place in the end, in a gain of 19 spots. Then Chris Wood in 24th, Stephen Burke in 25th, 26th for Julian Janowski, 2 drivers there gaining places. Then Lorne Murray in 27th, 28th for Tristan Bodis. Then Colin Cunniff in 29th, and 30th for Mark Woodhouse in the end. What a shame. He was 7/10 of a second away from winning the race. And then, he ended up getting a slowdown penalty that he wasn't able to serve before the line, and got a hefty penalty as a result. Laura Bond in 31st place, 32nd for Scott Malcolm, 33rd for Laidler, then Jack Sedgwick in 34th. Those two colliding with each other around the back part of the circuit. Then Alex Everett, Rob Graham, Max Wright, Lee Deemer, Ben Mears, Dave Crozier started on the pole and went off in the first corner. Dave Baker, one of the championship contenders, gone. Kip Stevens, the race 2 winner, finished in pretty much last. And Jackie Lotterman also in issues. I don't know whether Jackie took the start, to be fair, so problems for them as well. Right. Do have a winner waiting to talk to us. And it is Stuart McFadden, and we might even be able to get the move that won him the race up as well. So we'll drag him in. There we go. There we go. Stuart McFadden joins us in the commentary box. That's 2 race-free victories in a row for you, and what a move going into the hairpin as well.
Yeah, cheers. I really thanks very much. I really had to dig deep and going into that braking zone to make it work, especially with the risk of kind of going really, really close to the grass. It could have ended in tears, but gladfully so it never. So yeah, I'm just so glad to get the win after the night I've had. Absolutely shocking night, but I managed to pull a result out of it.
Before you were able to get to Mark Woodhouse, it seemed like every other driver that tried to get by picks up a slowdown penalty going through that final chicane. It looked like a tricky spot on the circuit for everybody today.
Yeah, it was kind of the story of the night, to be fair. We knew that slowdowns were going to be a big factor, and a big factor of one instance, and 2 kind of gaining positions and being patient and trying to put something in mistake. But to be fair to Mark, he did not crack. I mean, that was 3 drivers that had a go at him, and he didn't crack. So yeah, I mean, fair play to him. That's really, really good. Especially Pete Newman and Dan Kraft, especially, they are really, really good overtakers. So to hold them off, Mark, I know you got disqualified for the race, but give yourself a pat on the back for that, man. And
yeah, that final corner, I think anything could have happened there. It just about avoided the wall. What happened with Pete Newman? Did he have a slowdown, or did you just coordinate the finish there?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think he might have had just a wee slowdown, but yeah, I mean, it's still an absolutely fantastic result for CQR Academy and CQR Club. I think it's 7 cars in the top 10, so yeah, absolutely amazing night for us.
Just about to get the calendar up so I can see.
I think we're at
Le Mans
next week.
Oh, it is Le Mans. Well, that is going to be interesting because we're going to have plenty of slipstreaming around there.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge part of it. It's going to be quite difficult qualifying because obviously the rate that you catch up, you're going to have to kind of back out, and it's where you back out to kind of where you gain or lose your time. So yeah, because it's such a long lap, you can kind of make a couple of mistakes and get away with it. So yeah, slipstream's going to be vital around there.
Great, well, we look forward to it. Before we let you go, then, Stu, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
Just the CQR guys, CQR team. Absolutely fantastic night again tonight. Well done to us all. Pleasure to be in the chat with them. Just an absolutely great laugh. We're all having a laugh during the race. We're all kind of chilled, and I think that's we're not really like frantic about it. We're not going to make mistakes. We're just cool as a cucumber during the races, and it's showing. So yeah, if we keep this up, then I think we're on for a good season. And thanks for the interview as well.
No problem. Well done on the victory. And
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us.
Oh, no problem. I enjoy doing these. So.
Cheers. See you in a few weeks. Or see you next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you next week, guys. Bye bye.
Stuart McFadden there, and I'm sure he'll be hoping that you're back again next week, Marco, because whenever you seem to be in the commentary box, he seems to get a win.
Well, it has been amazing at Imola. It was a dream come true to commentate this series. Amazing racing again today. And Le Mans, I mean, what can we say? I am also predicting that, like we did today, at Le Mans, we're going to put on a better show for the fans than the real cars will be doing this weekend at the 24 hours of Le Mans. So I cannot wait for that race.
Yeah, I can imagine quite a few cars getting bump drafted into the wall. That's what I'm expecting anyway. Le Mans, of course, the Mulsanne Straight. Le Mans qualifying, I think, is just about is nearly finished, I think. So you can go and watch that after, because we're out of time here on Apex Racing TV. My thanks to Marco for joining me in the commentary box once again. Been a thoroughly entertaining evening. 3 fantastic races as always in the BSRTC, and you definitely do not want to miss Le Mans next week. That is going to be something else. And of course, you've got the usual coverage on Apex Racing TV over the weekends with Euro V8s as well. Make sure you can join us for that while the Le Mans 24 hours is on. Have them both on at the same time if you can. So yeah, well, thanks to Marco again, and well done to all the 3 winners here today in the BSRTC at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We'll see you at Le Mans next week. But for now, from me and from Marco Barbonera here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, bye for now.